funny thing. Some people say it's an illusion. But the sacred timeline aside for a moment, the debut of season 2 of Loki in October last year on Disney Plus showed that the creativity, wit, and wonder of the acclaimed first season was no illusion. It was the real deal, Marvel God of Mischief style. So traveling across time and space, including, by the way, surprise, surprise, a McDonald's in Oklahoma in 1982, the 6-episode second season proved nothing is what it seemed, and along with the TVA's Mobius, played by Owen Wilson, and the timeline-busting Sylvie, played by Sophia Di Martiino, it revealed a side of the Tom Hiddleston portrayed Loki that we had not seen before in the MCU. Cheer it up! All right. So, please welcome Sophia Di Martiino, Owen Wilson, and Loki himself, the god of mischief, Tom Hiddleston. We're here, Owen. Owen! All right.
Good afternoon, everybody.
Yes. So we are here with glorious purpose. We are also going to, obviously we could make this a fashion panel because, I mean, come on, this is a pretty great dressed panel here. But before we do that, we're going to take a look at a clip from season 2 of Loki.
Loki, how much do you know?
Let's assume I don't know much, but I'm a fast learner, and I'm a god.
Well, let's start at the beginning.
Here we go. All of existence is in grave danger. The TVA is gone.
I think you mean ATV, and no, we got in 2 of them last week.
I need everyone to help us fix it.
Oh, it's a party.
Loki, if you're too late, you will be lost to time forever. And Mobius will lose all of his skin.
Here we go.
Listen to me carefully. Hit the green button. It can be a little sticky.
Don't overthink it. So it's now?
There's something you have to see.
Loki, you are getting desperate.
I lost it. One time, they held the whole of New York City hostage with an alien army. It happens.
So we're all going to go get neck massages after that. I was thinking about something the other day, Tom. So, correct me if I'm wrong, but you have played Loki now for 12 years.
15, actually.
50, sorry, add an extra 3, yes. and 12 episodes of television. How many movies?
6.
And you've died how many times?
Officially 2. Officially 2, but they weren't, well, they felt like real endings, but it turns out they weren't.
Yes.
Dark World, Thor the Dark World, when Loki joins the fray to save Thor, and then we reworked it, and he was sitting on the throne at the end. And then Avengers Infinity War was the second one.
Yes.
Yeah.
Maybe not the last one.
Well, only on that timeline.
Yeah.
What's been so thrilling is that I think the reason I've absolutely loved playing Loki, and it has been 15 years. It's been the most magnificent and emotional roller coaster full of twists and turns. And he has so much range and so much complexity, and it never feels like the same thing. But I know that the reason I'm standing here or sitting here in front of you today is that the audience has such curiosity and passion for and connection to him, and I owe that to them.
And they reciprocate. Sophia, Sylvie has become a huge fan favorite. And your portrayal, and I made a joke at the beginning, but I have to say really that McDonald's in Oklahoma was something. That was really something. For you, the second season takes your character, if you're the kind of a universe-destroying Loki variant in season 1, there's a very different arc for you in season 2. Give us a sense, what was that like for you when you guys came back, and how did Sylvie change for you?
Well, Sylvie's in a completely different space in series 2. Series 1, she's super angry. She just wants revenge. She wants to kill the man at the end of time. And in the second series, she has to deal with her choice. I think she's trying to find some stillness and some peace within herself and trying to assimilate into like a normal human life, which is difficult because she's an outcast. She's a weirdo. She's not normal. And she has a go, but she doesn't quite manage it. It all gets, ripped away from her. And in the end, it's quite a tragedy for Sylvie, I think. When that new life is put under threat and she has to fight for it again. And yeah.
I have a quick question for you guys. How many of you have seen season 2? Awesome, we can do spoilers. Okay, so the universe gets saved, kind of, what have you. Owen, Mobius is, we see, what? Really? It's on Disney Plus. Okay, no spoilers. So, you like some athletic wear and like doing things athletic. When we meet Mobius in season 1, the chemistry between the two of you was amazing, as the chemistry was with you as Sophia. And when you leave at the end of season 1, it really feels like, I felt like, how are they going to make this go more? And you guys did. You really did with the way the timeline and the TVA, the fallacy of it, Miss Minutes, all new characters, whatever. What was it like for you coming back? Because they so enlarged the range of the character this time around.
Well, I was excited to come back, and I didn't think of it so much that they had kind of widened the range. I still sort of, I guess we don't want to talk about spoilers, but...
Their show's been out for almost 7 months.
Yeah.
Oh, and the people have spoken. You just tell them.
Well, I think with, in the sort of dynamic between, between us, certainly in the first season, the way I kind of am, kind of probing and, know everything about his life, it's a little bit flipped in season 2 where Mobius has lost some of his certainty and kind of... is questioning a lot of things. And what you were just saying about looking for some, I like the way you put that, some stillness and peace. I think Mobius is trying to kind of figure out kind of, what he might have been doing on the timeline before. Did that answer your question?
And no spoilers. Very well done. Tom, obviously we talked about it at the beginning, the history that you've had with Loki and the history, and there's the famous stories that many people have told me about you and the Loki quizzes and the encyclopedic knowledge of Loki.
Pop
maybe
quizzes.
Get into later.
He just dreaded coming in and getting hit with a pop quiz. Ruler. No.
I'm going to make an assumption that things have wrapped up. What is it like for you now at the end of that long run with this character who's been so... I mean, you've had the success with The Night Manager, which is coming back for another run, and many, many others. But, for a lot of people, like I remember being at Comic-Con several years ago when you came out, and that was like the Beatles in Hollywood. It was serious, right?
That was an amazing, unrepeatable, and unforgettable experience. And
you should YouTube it, trust me.
But playing Loki has changed the course of my whole life, no question. And I feel, if pride were permissible, I just feel so proud of where we've ended up in season 2. It was very creatively fulfilling to bring something full circle. I always saw him from the very first film, the first Thor movie. I saw him as a broken soul with a shattered heart who felt like he didn't belong. He didn't belong in his family. He was an orphan. He was adopted. He was on the margins, an outcast. And that's what binds him to Sylvie. They both are. And all that grief hardens into grievance, and the grievance is what drives him to become a villain in the Avengers, and then an uneasy ally in the later Thor movies. And this chance that he's given by Mobius, this second chance, a second chance to rediscover that glorious purpose that he feels he has always been burdened with.
Well, it's interesting because the final episode of season 2 is called Glorious Purpose.
Right. Well, I think it's because finally he discovers that his purpose is to look after his friends and to give his life for people he loves, which perhaps was always his purpose, but it comes in a shape he would never have recognized and would never have anticipated. And I think it gave a kind of catharsis.
Really have wanted.
Exactly. Yeah.
He wasn't ready for that.
He wasn't ready for it.
No spoilers, but there's a big family component to the end of this one.
But I suppose to go from that high status position to this humility, and to discover that humility through a process of awakening and growth and love and friendship, that feels very redeeming and honorific of Loki as a character.
Sophia, one of the things about Loki when the first season came, and certainly in season 2, is the look of Loki is so amazing and distinctive. And you know, when we watch you guys in those environments, I wondered, how does that foster or illuminate you as a performer to be in those environments that just create this? I mean, just that we saw some clips from the final episode up here and stuff like that. I mean, they're visually stunning.
Yeah, and our show is quite different to a lot of these big Marvel shows in the sense that we don't have that much green screen. It's all real. The sets are real, and we have ceilings on them, which is also quite rare. They don't just stop. Like they're huge builds that they feel like real worlds. So the sets definitely help, you know, you to feel like you're in that place, and the TVA especially feels super claustrophobic because of all of the corridors. It's all real. You're really there.
And it was sometimes exciting when we were going to move on to a new scene and a new location, like what's the set going to look like?
Yeah.
Because when you would walk on, it was...
It's like, wow.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, I wonder. I mean, I think maybe you told me this once about something we were talking about. Like, you know, when you're on a good production design set, like, I don't mean to say like, you know, you put on the outfit and it's not, but you're not working, but like you just kind of go there. Like you open a drawer and there's a TVA magazine in there and there's all that. Like, was that something you found, Owen? Like it put you in the place?
Oh yeah, for sure. And I'm just thinking of kind of my favorite sets, and I love, you know, where we're introduced to Key. I thought that set, you know, or Ouroboros was one of the best.
Okay, now we have to do the game. Sophia, what's your favorite set?
The World's Fair. There's like an actual giraffe.
Yeah,
Just-
we had the whole Ferris wheel.
Yeah, like real animals, and so many essays all like working their asses off and looking amazing, and the costumes, and it's just incredible. And you're on a Ferris wheel that moves.
Yeah.
How?
But was your second one the one where we meet Key, maybe?
Like third or fourth.
All right, someone's going to juice the results. Okay, what's yours? What was your favorite?
Mine was the core control room where we must have spent a month.
Oh, yeah.
We,
that one we got our fill of
We
that
got our
room,
fill
so
of that.
it's hard to dial it back to the first time where it was amazing.
It was amazing. I mean, it was. So there's as you probably, if you've seen it, there's many iterations. Loki runs that loop over and over and over again to see if he can get it right and get it perfect. And Kasra Farahani, our production designer and the director of episode 3 of season 2, just immaculate work. This was almost on 3 stories, and it was like almost the captain's cabin of a ocean liner, but it was also an observation chamber. And there were real staircases down below for getting into the radiation suit, and then I don't know, maybe from here to the end of the theater, a length of a gangway where you're looking up at this extraordinary generator that runs the order of reality.
Does that make it for you? Sophia mentioned it about there not being as many green screens as you usually see in sort of Marvel and DC type superhero stuff. Does that for you? is it adrenaline? Like it sounds like it gets you more.
It's incredibly exciting. I think what it does to all of us is it coordinates our imaginations. And you get and you suddenly all our imaginations are in sync because we're experiencing the same thing at the same time in the same place. And you get so much from the precision of the art direction. And it feels like you're in a real place. There was a moment when a wave of radiation was coming towards us through from outside the observation window, and the shutters were down, and the art department and the special effects department were able to make the shutters rattle in the most terrifying way. It was like being in an airplane and you think something awful is going to happen. And the sound of the rattling, do you remember? You felt it. And I just pay tribute to everybody behind the scenes who made that, because it helps us be precise in the application of our imagination.
Stakes, too.
Yeah. For sure.
I have to ask you, is there going to be more of you in Loki?
I don't know.
You've learned never. Probably.
Kevin Feige. Yeah.
It is above my pay grade.
Yeah.
I think I know that something happened. Season 2, we started to understand there was an enthusiasm and a desire to do another season very early on when we were making season 1. And what was very satisfying was to then develop the story as a narrative in 2 volumes. That we're going to have 12 episodes to tell this story. And in the first episode of the first season, we were going to break Loki down, break his psyche open, create existential crisis and anxiety and doubt, to give him a huge problem, and then take 12 episodes to find resolution. And across that time, he would meet Sylvie and have this relationship with Mobius where they, after sort of being analyzed, they sort of become an unlikely friendship. And that all of these characters would go on a journey together because the stakes would get so high. So I feel like it's been 2 volumes, and anything beyond that, I can't, wish I could tell you, but I have no idea.
We all can hope and pray. Ladies and gentlemen, the cast of Loki.
Thank you so much.
And now my friend Pete Hammond will be returning.